Hi friends, welcome to Kodai Linux. I'm your facilitator Murali. So this session we are going to start learning about the shell scripting. The session objectives for today's session is what is shell, what is a shell script, what is the task of shell interpreter, applications of shell script. So these are the things we are going to learn in today's session. So we are going to understand about the shell script. So what is a shell script, shell interpreter? So where all the shell script is used, okay, by whom it is used and where all it is used, in what scenarios it is used. These are the aspects we are going to learn about in this session. What is a shell? We all know. In my one of my previous videos also I have given a very detailed note about the shell. I have explained in detail. Shell is the user interface program. See, there are two things, as you know, right? There is kernel and there is a shell, right? Kernel is the hardware interface and the shell is the user interface. So it's a user interface program provided by the Unix or Linux operating system. Okay, so it provides an interface to the user by means of the $prompt. So if a system admin logs in, so the system admin is provided with the hash prompt, and when any other user logs in, that user is provided with the $prompt. So it's a prompt on which the user can execute his or her command. What is a shell script? A shell script is a set of commands provided in a file that can be processed by the shell's interpreter. That is what is the shell script. And in shell script we can implement various techniques provided by the constructs and techniques provided by the shell programming language. The statements in a shell script are executed in a sequence from the first line to the last line, one by one. So they are all interpreted. I'll tell you what is the meaning of interpreting. So shell script is a sequence of Unix or Linux commands placed in a file executed by the shell interpreter. Okay. What is the task of shell interpreter? Now the question comes about the shell interpreter. So what is the task of shell interpreter? When you execute a shell script, okay, the shell interpreter takes line by line from the shell script. It picks up line by line from the shell script and executes every line. Okay, it converts every statement into the corresponding machine language code and executes it. So that is the task performed by the shell interpreter. Okay, it's a translator. Basically, you have a translator for executing any program for the programs that you write. Okay, or high level programs. They are having English like statements, so they are called as high level programs, but the machine won't understand those programs, so you need to do a process known as translation. So this translation process will convert or translate your program from the high level to the machine level code. Okay, that is known as translator. So you have a translator called as interpreter. So the shell script is translated by the interpreter. There is yet another translator known as compiler. Okay, and there are compiler based languages. Those the code written using those languages would be compiled. Okay, but the shell script is basically interpreted. Okay, applications of shell script. Where all the shell script is used? Shell scripts are written by Unix Linux system administrator to automate repetitive tasks. So system administrator uses the shell scripts. Okay, apart from the other developers, system administrator also uses the shell script for automating some repetitive tasks, like he wants to manage the users, he wants to create users, manage users and all. So for that he can do that with the help of the shell script. He or she wants to monitor the system status, then that also can be done. Okay, system status means what is the memory available, what is the secondary storage available, what are the processors that are running currently in the system. Okay, so how much CPU has been utilized, all these things, no, for getting all these statistics, no, he can she or he can uh, do that, get that information with the help of some shell script which is scheduled to run periodically. Then monitoring usage of memory, CPU, process monitoring. Okay, so these all can be done by the system administrator. Okay, fine. System admin can also develop scripts to perform certain tasks during booting of the OS. So when the OS is getting booted at that point of time, he wants certain tasks to be performed, some system admin level tasks to be performed. For that also, she or he can uh, develop the scripts for taking care of those tasks to be done during the booting up of the OS. Booting up means what? When you are starting the operating system, when you are starting the system, at that time, what all tasks have to be performed, that we can customize using shell script. Automate the process of connecting to multiple servers. So, see, a system admin would be responsible to maintain multiple servers, not just one server. So, in that case, he may want to perform maybe a same task in multiple servers. Then, what he can do? He can do that with the help of a shell script. Okay, a shell script which could connect to all the servers one by one and then perform the tasks on these servers. That he can do that as an automated process. Maybe she or he can schedule it using schedulers like cron schedulers, which we'll be learning later on about the cron scheduler. So mm, she or he can schedule the task. Okay, using cron scheduler, and then the task can be written using shell script, which can basically do the task like connecting to the multiple servers and uh, executing the same task across all those servers. Okay, depending on the requirement. Okay, develop and schedule scripts to perform periodical data backup. So the system admin would also want to, at times would also want to uh, take the data backup, like archive the log files. Okay, the log files would keep on be generating, maybe 1 week's log file. The system admin would want to archive it, and then thus take a backup. So for those purpose also, the system admin can do that with the help of shell scripts. You can develop shell scripts for that purpose. Okay, which would save lot of system admin time. Okay, then in what way shell scripts help the application developers? Application developers use shell script for the following purposes. So not just to whatever purposes I have highlighted, but there are more than these purposes for the shell scripts as far as the application developers are concerned. So shell scripts uh, to perform file manipulations. So for performing the file manipulations, we can take the help of shell scripts. To launch the applications, we can take the help of the shell script. Applications in the sense that we have a Java application, we have a C++ application, we have a Perl script to be launched. So all these things we can do with the help of the shell script. Okay, shell script provides a very flexible way of launching the application. So when we go into the shell script, I will show you how do we launch the applications using the shell script. Maybe we want to execute that applications in a periodical way. That shell script can be scheduled using a cron scheduler. So thank you for being in the class, being this session. So I believe you would have understood the basics of shell scripting, like what is a shell script, what is a shell, what is a shell script, what is a shell interpreter, why it is called as an interpreter, what, okay, and what are the applications of the shell scripts. So stay tuned to our channel, because we are going to come up with the further concepts of shell script. We are going to get into the shell script, we are going to work on the shell script, we are going to work on the various aspects of the shell script in subsequent classes, and then we would be learning about more commands like find command, exarch command, and then the more features, more and more features of features of Unix or Linux operating system, like how do we set the permissions for the users, how do we set and maintain the permissions of the users, how do we work with the VA editor, how do we work with the processes with regard to the background process, everything we are going to learn. So stay tuned to the channel so that you are able to understand all these things and you get benefited. Okay, so see you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.